Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
A 15-year-old murder suspect arrested weeks after a deadly shooting. We take you live to the courthouse where his suspected accomplices learned their fate.
Plus a financial respite for campfire survivors. We'll break down just how much money you'll be getting from the Fire Victims Trust.
But first, a kidnapping suspect and his accuser found and arrested on the Sacramento River.
Deputies say they found the two just south of Big Chico Creek on the Sacramento River there.
Yeah, Glenn County Sheriff's Office says a couple reported their child was missing on Monday. They were concerned that she was fishing with a man that they did not know well. The multi-county search ended a few hours later when deputies say they found the 14-year-old girl with 64-year-old Eliezer Martinez. They say Martinez had drugs with him at the time of his arrest, but officials would not say what kind of drugs. He now faces 1 count of child stealing, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of possession of a controlled substance. New developments: a man accused of shooting and killing a Magalia man is free to go. We told you Sunday when police arrested Kendall Woodward for shooting Elijah Simmons in Paradise. Butte County District Attorney Mike Ramsey says they need to gather more information to evaluate claims of self-defense before filing a criminal complaint against Woodward.
Both lanes of Highway 99 are back open after a crash shut the highway down north of Cana Highway. The CHP says a trike and a truck crashed outside of Centerfold. It's just after 4 today. CHP says the person on that tricycle was flown to Enloe with head lacerations. The truck driver's okay, and we're still working to learn what caused this crash. We're also taking a live look over Shasta County from Alert California's camera here, where, yeah, you can see it's pretty smoky and hazy out there. And if you notice that smoke, you likely noticed CAL FIRE's prescribed burn happening today and tomorrow southwest of Oak Run.
So let's let's check in with Howie Gordon now to see how conditions are. We still very much could see fires right now until we get some good rainfall.
Oh, super, super dry out there no matter where the conditions go, unless, like you said, Alan, we start to see some of those fall and winter rains, and right now, that is not part of the forecast. As we cool down today, we still remain on the hot side with temperatures in the 90s. Remember, in the valley, last couple of days, we did make it back up to 100 degrees, but that's very temporary that we left 100 because we're eventually going to be there again. But again, still at the moment, mid to upper 80s, higher elevations in the lower 80s. Now, humidities with the Delta breeze, those did go up a little bit, and what went up a lot of it were our winds. We had 15 to 18 mile per hour winds with gusts in the vicinity of 25 to 28 miles per hour. The winds are going to go down, but unfortunately for some, the heat is going to return and go back up. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Howie.
New developments: police arrested the third and final teen suspect in a deadly gang shooting nearly 2 weeks ago in Red Bluff. Now, 2 of the suspects appeared at the Tehama County Courthouse today, and that's where we find Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe. So, Margot, was the family of the victim there at the courthouse as well?
Haley, there were family members present in the courtroom, but it was unclear to me if the family members were family of the victim or the suspect. They were very quiet during the process, but they did leave after hearing both teens' arraignments. Now, 17-year-old Blake Bush and 19-year-old Nathan Reap, who you see on your screen right now, made their first appearances in court, where they were both charged with first-degree murder and face up to 25 years to life in prison. They're accused of shooting and killing 16-year-old Domingo Dominic Carrillo outside of his Red Bluff home. Deputies arrested the third suspect, 15-year-old Ryan Piper, in Tehama County yesterday. Now, District Attorney Matt Rogers says his office is going over Piper's file to set a date for his arraignment, and Rogers says they're looking to trying to charge all 3 suspects as adults.
Piper, we are still in the process of reviewing whether we can legally file on him as an adult or seek to elevate him into adult court. And so we're still in that process now. He is also potentially facing a first-degree murder charge with 25 years to life. But again, charges have not yet been filed and he has not yet appeared in court.
In addition to murder, Bush is also facing a special allegation for the use of a firearm resulting in a death, and that could be an additional 25 years to life sentence for him. Now, Bush and Reap will be back in court on October 1st, and there's no word yet on when Piper will make his appearance Reporting live in Red Bluff, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
All right, thank you, Margot. DA Rogers says next Tuesday could be the day that the teens set up their hearings, or their attorneys could extend their arraignments for more time to study the case.
A 30-minute chase ended with one person dead today in Yuba County. Deputies say they tried to pull over a truck, but the driver took off. This was on Marysville Road in Browns Valley. Investigators say the truck then broke down on Highway 20 near Marysville, and then that led to a shootout. Deputies say the driver died at the scene. No officer was injured. We're working to learn the name of the person who was killed. New at 6, a Corning apartment complex has turned into what some are calling a crime hotspot and is putting neighbors on edge. Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield spoke with them about their concerns.
Corning police say they took 4 teenagers into custody last Friday after police say they caught them handling guns. Police say they found the teens inside a red car at the Valley Terrace Apartments on Loomis Avenue. Officers say 2 of the teens had ghost guns, along with a high-capacity pistol magazine.
And you can't help but see, because you see the foot traffic, the car traffic, and people knocking at other people's windows at all hours of the night and day.
This past Monday, Corning police were called back to the same apartment complex, this time for a home invasion. Police say 2 men, Anthony Solorio and Damian Solorio, invaded an apartment and pistol-whipped a man so bad that he started seizuring. Corning police say if you have any info on these 2 men's whereabouts, you're encouraged to contact them. Reporting in Corning, I'm Blake Mayfield, Action News Now.
Well, police say they found the suspect's car abandoned. The car is abandoned with no license plates.
Well, we told you yesterday that Trinity County supervisors were considering major budget cuts to make up for a budget deficit. Well, the county says it mainly discussed how to keep the library operating as well as the animal shelter. One solution discussed was using donation-based funding to keep the doors open, but no action was taken. Supervisors are expected to approve the proposed budget during the October 1st board meeting. Another law just passed Governor Gavin Newsom's desk, empowering local communities to restrict oil and gas operations. Let me walk you through this. The new law gives cities and counties the authority to impose restrictions like limiting or prohibiting new developments. This is in an effort to protect vulnerable communities from the health impacts of industrial operations.
It gives clear direction to cities and municipalities that they can act to protect communities, and because nothing happens without us, we will be there watchdogging, making sure that we enact the 3,200 foot, that oil is now a non-conforming land use, and we begin the process of amortization and figuring out what is next for these sites.
Non-conforming land use is a land use in a way that was legal initially, but no longer meets current zoning requirements. This overrides recent court decisions that blocked ordinances which tried to limit oil drilling approved by voters in Monterey County and by the Los Angeles City Council.
Chico's North State Shelter Team says it wants to add another sanctioned campground in the city. The nonprofit group brought a revised managed campground proposal to the city council on September 9th. The campground would provide shelter to up to 35 people. They're asking the city to donate a piece of property to the project, and it's turning to fundraising to pay for the rest. But the city says it's not sold on the idea.
Did not present, hey, we're going to be looking at doing this. This is how we're going to afford it. This is the property that we're identifying, and this is what is going to happen with liability. You know, the city's very hesitant to enter into any agreement or allow anything to move forward, particularly on city property, because, of course, we incur the liability.
In the team's business plan, it suggests there could be insurance to protect the city from liability. But even then, City Manager Mark Sorensen says a big reason the proposal is not moving forward is because the team did not apply correctly. Sorensen says the proposal is missing key information, like we just heard from the mayor, the proposed site, the layout, and its attributes. You can find the city manager's full statement on actionnewsnow.com. More help is headed to campfire survivors from the Fire Victims Trust. We'll break down the latest numbers next.
Plus,
The focus of all of our programs is to provide high-quality teachers for the North State.
Chico State is helping mold our future educators. We have that story straight ahead.
The Fire Victim Trust is increasing Camp Fire victims' pro rata payments from 66% to 70%.
Yeah, that's about $770 million more dollars headed to claimants. The trust says this is coming months earlier than expected because 99% of all claim determinations are final and 99% of releases have been submitted. The change takes effect October 24th. All future pro rata payments will be paid at 70% of the final award amount. The trust says the next pro rata increase will be the last and is expected to come in 2025.
Chico State School of Education is launching a brand new teacher residency program after receiving an $8.5 million grant. Action News Now reporter Alejandro Mejia shows us how this will support students.
To me, it's very exciting that a student could enter this profession with the heart that they have for teaching and not have to struggle in that way.
The Belong, Engage, Support, Transform Teachers Residency Program, also known as the BEST program, aims to bring new teachers to rural elementary schools in our area. It's a 5-year grant designed to help address teacher shortages in rural school districts. The BEST program will give $50,000 to 60 students here at Chico State for them to live in rural areas like Palermo, Thermalito, Los Molinos, and Corning during their year-long residency. Dr. Mimi Miller and Dr. Justison told me the importance of giving these grants to students and what makes this program so different.
This grant will actually pay a living wage to our teacher candidates so that they don't have to worry about getting a second job, having an extra financial burden on their family, and it might allow people who have had that financial barrier to teaching but have always had it in their heart to become an elementary teacher. It might allow them to actually do that.
It is different than student teaching in that they're spending from the first day of school to the last day of school in the school, embedded in a school context with an expert teacher.
Miller says over 70 other universities across the country applied for the grant. Chico State School of Education was one of the 18 universities that was awarded the grant. Students will also get their Master's of Arts degree in teaching through the program. In Chico, I'm Alejandro Mejia for Action News Now.
Applications for the BEST residency program will open in the spring of 2025 semester, with the first group of students starting in the summer of 2025.
Chico State's efforts don't stop ever, really. The university celebrated the last of 3 new resource centers aimed at supporting students of color. The new El Centro Center offers mentorships from grad students, career prep, as well as a peer mentoring program. The 2 other centers are the Black Resource Center and the Asian Pacific Islander and Desi American Resource Center. A push to bring the public back to Upper Bidwell Park. New at 6, how you can soon step foot on the fire-damaged land.
All right, if you want to get to some yard work, I'm going to clear that up more for you in a few moments. I'll give you a hint. Thursday and Sunday will be on the cooler side, so if you do want to get to that yard work, again, we'll clear that up coming up in just a moment.